who's young for a while, and then hopefully you'll live.
That's really the key to enjoying
Yeah,
to enjoying your,
yeah.
that's the key to enjoying your benefits is to stay alive.
Yes.
The retirement package really includes staying alive here on Earth.
Yeah.
Do you what instrument do you usually work it all out on?
I mean, I'm more accustomed to the piano, and feel that is my instrument. But the guitar is easier to carry, and it's also.
I saw your piano guys in the lobby. It was kind of awkward.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
And then there was the guy with the anvil.
They were in the speedos and
just carrying their
roller skates.
That'd be one.
Yeah.
You know what? That's not a bad gig. See the United States, go to Arkansas, and roller skate through the town. That's the job title. Roller skating piano lifter.
That's it.
Have you ever had a hook?
Better than having a roller skated facelift. But have I ever had
What would a roller skating
I don't
facelift
know. I don't know.
be?
It'd be interesting. Why not?
On the go? Just facelift on the go. This is the town for it.
A roller skating surgeon.
Oh my God.
I think it's pretty.
Is there a song that you have had a hard time landing? Like it's been in your head for like a decade and you can't make it match up with other stuff?
That's an interesting question. I would say yes. I mean, yeah. There's a song actually, Agnus Dei, which is the beginning of my Want To album. And I had the melody for years and years and years, and I realized at a certain point that it's such an incredible melody that I wrote that no English word could actually work in it. It had to be Latin.
So when that lands, do you feel satisfied? Or
I was like, the English language cannot even capture the greatness of this melody.
That's right. Arkansas is Latin.
We have to go to Latin time.
English doesn't capture the magic of you, really. And that Arkansas is Latin.
I know Arkansas it's a Latin nation.
Rufus, come play here. Were there performers when you were a kid that you looked at and thought this person really gets it?
Well, of course, Judy was always a great influence.
Judy Collins.
Judy Collins. Well, I knew Judy Collins.
Judy Jetson. You knew Judy Collins?
Yeah,
through
Judy
your mom?
Collins through my mom. Too. Very good friends with my mom, and there's actually pictures of us when I was a very young kid, and she was strung out on heroin. But she's been sober for years. Yeah. But it was fun, and that's gonna go far.
It seems like being strung out on heroin is not that bad of a gig. Everyone applauds if you just show up.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like you and all your siblings have to cook on Thanksgiving, and then you come by with a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, Andrew came by with his friend. They were here for about 10 minutes. It was real nice. And you're like, that's fine. All you have to get, that's my free pass? A heroin addiction?
I know. But
it's really
it's always an option. It's always an option.
For those of you not out at Thanksgiving, they go, he was quiet, he didn't argue with anybody you two.
I mean, I dabbled in everything at certain points.
You're a dabbler.
And I have to say though that I did one thing that with heroin that was interesting at the time when I was very young and crazy, and it's a period I survived, and in all seriousness, it's a good thing to live. But I was with rock and roll and that drug especially. It's dangerous, of course, but it's also very, I don't know. I did fall in love with a lot of junkies. It was weird. There was something. Maybe it was because my greatness can only be comprehended through the use of drugs.
Yeah, you break on through to the other side.
Like they would sort of do them, and then they'd be like, "Oh, now I get it. You're God."
Yeah. Now that I'm tripping balls.
I know we can't talk about this.
Now that I'm tripping balls, I understand how you listen to
I was
books.
fully appreciated. Sorry, I'm being silly.
No, it's a silly part. There's nothing serious
silly.
about this.
Okay.
We sit down and we just have
I'm gonna get arrested when we walk out of this hotel. But anyway.
It's a stripper. It's not a real cop. Just so you know. I heard there's been a little noise complaint here, Mr. Wainwright. Whoa. So Judy Garland, you saw.
Judy Garland. Also, oh God.
Good old what's his name?
No, Nina Simone was great. She really showed me the way. and also Ricky Schroeder from when he
Silver
was a kid, when he
Spoons?
was a kid.
What
I
was it
wanted to
about?
be him.
That
I
just
think
that
I wanted
rich?
to sleep with him,
Sure,
but
who
I
didn't?
was a little. I didn't really understand.
When he changed his name to Rick, did the fire go out, or did it make him that much more unattainable?
I don't know. It was just. It was. He was everything to me,
Yeah.
especially growing up in Canada in the
He had a-
cold, and
he had
he
a
was
train set in
rich,
his
and he had a
house.
train set, and he was sexy, a sexy toddler for me.
Alfonso.
I was a toddler at
For the
time
record,
as
you were
well.
you were a toddler.
Yeah, we
as
were
well.
both toddlers.
Alfonso Ribeiro
so
hung
we were
out with
allowed
him.
to have sex.
Alfonso Ribeiro. Remember Alfonso
It was
Ribeiro
legal.
was his buddy, the tap dance kid. Alfonso Ribeiro was his
I only
friend.
had eyes for Ricky.
Really?
Yeah. So.
You know what? Alfonso Ribeiro is going to be heartbroken
Aw.
that you didn't have eyes for him. Who were your biggest crushes?
Well, there was Ricky. There was the kid from, and this is all age appropriate because I was.
Well,
young
let's
at
get
the
this out of the way.
time.
How old were you when you knew you were gay?
I was young. I was about 11 or 12.
That's
sort
I
of
think
when-
that's even
yeah.
old. I've had roommates that told me like it's 6. They
Well,
fell
I
in love with
knew about it
Superman.
earlier, but it was really 11 or 12 when I kind of got the facts straight.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there was him. There was also the kid from the Neverending Story. He was like the older crush.
I like the thing he rode around.
Yeah, I'll ride around on your dragon.
I like
with you.
Valcor, man.
Yeah.
That's who I fell in love with. That big, crazy, hairy dog he hung
I have
around
to
with.
say,
I've always liked bears.
apparently, ooh, nice. Oh, you've got it. The two snakes intertwined.
You got a Ricky Schroeder story?
No, I got into show business because of John Ritter.
Oh yeah, that was her big crush.
John Ritter. I love John Ritter.
And John
But
Ritter, you know what he always
Three's
said?
Company all the time.
You know what he always said? I'm going to go see the redhead down at the Regal Beagle. And she was 4 years old going, I think he means me. They live in Santa Monica. I'm here.
There's the pier in the opening credits.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
live by it.
Oh.
I'm little.
I'm married to a gay man. She's the greatest twink you will ever meet in your life.
Well, I was doing all these shows with Josh Ritter for a long time, who I thought was John Ritter's son, but isn't. And
I was doing movies
Didn't
with
realize
Josh
that
Charles 'cause I
until-
thought he was Josh Ritter's brother.
yeah. Oh, I love
When
John
you
Ritter.
are you an Ann Sexton fan?
You know, I know the name, and I don't know. Yeah.
So Release the Star. She is a big fan of stars. And
Okay,
rats and
okay,
dog
okay,
and God
okay,
and me.
okay.
But, so I was Release
What
the
did
Star.
she write again?
That's your department.
Ann Sexton.
She wrote the collected works of Ann Sexton.
Okay.
My favorite book of hers is Ann Sexton's Love Poems.
Okay,
Ann
okay,
Sexton's
okay.
love poems.
Stunning.
Okay, okay.
Release the Stars seems to be really, for me when I listen, just you do sing about double and triple entendre, and you do poke fun at your critics.
Yes.
And Release the Stars became, to me, it's perfect.
And
start
that's
to
also a
finish.
real Hollywood song. I mean, that's about.
But no one thinks when they read the title "Release the Stars," they think you're gonna. It's so romantic. He's gonna make it. No, why don't you let Rock
It's
Hudson
about contracts.
let him out? It's about contracts. It is. It's fantastic.
Nothing's more romantic than a
holding out for
contract.
Your cigarettes and chocolate milk was pretty much the first. That was the big one. Would
Yeah.
you agree?
Yeah, no, the Cigarettes and Chocolate Milk is the song that most defines me to a mainstream
And probably
audience.
most defines you, how you are. If you've dabbled in everything in the drugs and,
Yes,
and
yeah.
dalliances with human beings.
Yeah.
Everything you want is a little too
Yeah,
much.
me and Ricky Schroeder smoking at 3
Oh my God.
after doing it.
Your Silver Spoons onesies. And John Ritter can run the train.
John Ritter is
And then John
selling us
Houseman-
off to a Moroccan.
John Houseman comes in and tells everybody to break it up. You write so much about people and about places. Zebulon, of
Yes,
course, is
yes.
a song that really
Yeah,
put
no,
us on our
that's-
heels when we
yeah.
first heard it.
No, that's a
And that almost haunting. I don't want to use words that like journalists use, but it is haunting because I've always, and she's always. You sit at that piano at your grandparents. You just hit that one note over and over until you almost go mad.
Yeah.
You seem to have perfected the Coltrane right before he checked out
Yeah.
madness and corral it back in. Is Zebulon? How much of that is literal?
Well,
How-
Zebulon was a friend of mine when I was a kid, when I was around 14 at high school, with whom I was in love with. And we used to, go skiing together, and then, I'd sort of sit by the fire for hours, lonely, and that was sort of our life. And but then, of course, it coincided with my mother's illness and subsequent death from a very rare form of cancer called sarcoma. And I just, I found myself going to visit her in the hospital, and then and it was in Montreal, my hometown, and I would kind
Un
of
habitant, oui.
and we on every town
Oui,
we
d'accord.
and I would walk across the park at night after being in the hospital, and I then would just, I don't know, just all the memories of my childhood and the hopes and dreams, and just especially those times when you're a kid and you think that nothing could ever be worse than how I feel right now, and then years later you're like, oh my God, what I would give for that stupid little crush
you
or
sit by the
that
fire?
feeling of ineptitude, whatever, as when faced with death, essentially.
Is Zebulon still alive?
I think, he's still alive. And
did you have to clear
no,
his
no,
name?
he hasn't come back to me yet. I think he wants
How
to
do you think he
maintain a
feels?
certain French-Canadian mystique.
How do you think
where,
he feels
they
about
just,
your
do you
your love?
exist, or
All
no?
right, but hold on a second. How do you think he feels now that he knows about your love for Rick Schroeder?
Well, I
Is he
think
gonna have a
he'll
problem
be
with
fine.
that?
He'll be fine.
Does
fine.
Jorn, your husband, does Jorn
That
ever
is
look?
another question.
Does Jorn? Oh, good. Does Jorn
Jorn
ever?
has a hit out on Rick Schroeder
Does-
at the moment.
Does Jorn ever? Are there any songs that are so personal that you actually have to have a discussion at home? Like, look, it's figurative. I don't really want.
No, but I will say that Jorn requires one or two songs about him every album cycle. If there's not a song about him, he threatens. He doesn't threaten divorce yet, but he definitely threatens. A little bit of distance.
So he doesn't. You don't come home and he's like drunk on wine and he goes, "Hey, who's this art teacher?
No.
You want to explain the art teacher, my man?"
He's like, I need
I don't know why
another song
I
about
made him a
me
jock.
in the next 3 months. There's got to be another song about me.
Theory about spring.
So as long as I keep writing songs about him, I can do all those other things. It's a drug.
What songs are about Jorn?
Oh, a lot of them. And there's a Song of You from the last album, and also Sans Souci is the song where he first enters the scene.
With your cabriolet.
He's polishing my cabriolet.
Was that Jorn in the song?
Yeah.
You played that at a bet.
Yeah.
Nick called it. She goes, he's still singing about Jorn.
Yeah.
You played that at we met you briefly, and you were very nice at I think it was Susan Sarandon and somebody else. Mary Louise Parker had like a benefit at the ping pong place in Manhattan, and you played Sans Souci.
Yes.
It was about halfway through that song that you and the audience all realized at the same time it's only one note.
Yes.
And you looked at everybody and went, really hard song to play, by the way. you just kept strumming along, strumming along.
No, that.
Does Jorn notice that his song is one note?
As long as it's about him, it could be like, I hate you, Jorn. You stink. Why are you here? And he'd be like, it's about me. I love it.
I like how I made Jorn a jock.
Everything about you.
Yeah.
And he goes,
My voice for Jorn was a jock. You made him Wendy Jo Sperber from like, oh my God.
It's about me. I love it.
So those people that you saw as a kid that you thought they really get it. Now that you're an adult with kids of your own, do you look at them now and think they did get it and they still have it?
I don't understand a word of what you just said to me.
Mira,
Kids that I saw.
When you were a kid,
When I was
I asked you
a
earlier
kid.
when you were a kid, are there performers that you looked at
Oh,
and
right.
said,
Oh,
wow,
okay,
they really
okay,
get
okay,
it. Now that
okay.
you're an adult, do you look at those same people and do you think they still have it?
Well, I mean, most of them are dead, so they don't.
They
don't have anything.
They left with it.
But I would say, you know what I'm really like, and I have to admit, and I did this last night on stage, so it's out there. I have a horrible habit of Googling myself every morning. It's like Huffington Post, Google Rufus, what's going on with Rufus on YouTube, porn. It's sort of like kind of descends
the Russian army
very quickly.
The Russian army.
Yeah.
I'm on to you, Wainwright.
So, but I will say that when in the Google phase or the YouTube phase, like what's the latest thing that someone's put up? I find myself, back and forth, going back between other artists. Someone like, I don't know, Bon Iver or Ray LaMontagne, other people who are doing things, and I go, am I better than them? And I'm like, let's listen to my song and then their song, and then I'm like, I think I'm okay, I'm good. But what I do like, which I think I've accomplished, in looking at all these other artists that are doing what they're doing is that and I mentioned it before, is that I am who I am. It's very I'm not that affected, which I like. And there's things that I put out which aren't that successful, which where I'm not really quite hitting all the notes or the voices in a weird place. But I've been very open and very kind of democratic about like my shifts, over the years. And I'm proud of that it's very real, and I'm terribly jealous of everybody else because
I like